all well, quarantined and in the lockdown. But thank you so much for having me here. And this is it's so it's so nostalgic because the last time I remember attending a Toastmasters meeting was years ago when I was a child. My father, so Feroz Fazal, he was a Toastmaster, and the fact that I'm sitting here today is because of Toastmaster Lancy D'Souza, who happened to tell me about this wonderful event. They have been friends and Toastmasters for years, decades. If I don't want to make them feel very old, but um, this is this is also interesting because we're all. I hope you guys can hear me, and the audio and the visual is correct. Right, I see a thumbs up. Thank you, and just clap. Right, that's a new clap. That's very fascinating. My God, we've all become slaves of this new system, which is nice. We've all fallen in, falling in the line as expected. But it is important. I will get to the point of this new avatar that is being presented to you. Wonderful people. I am an actor. I'm no. Um, I in fact take a lot of inspiration from speakers such as yourselves. I remember while growing up, used to attend meetings where my father used to be speaking or Lance Young used to be speaking, and my God, it was inspiring, if nothing else. Um, I today, it's really funny because I was asked what I'm going to be talking about, or the gyan that I could possibly give, which I don't feel I can. I think they're wonderful, huge bunch of people here, and amazing artists, all of you. And we are all artists because every day we are creating and finishing tasks and using our minds. Of course, you guys are also delivering great speeches, but just at that moment, I was watching the TV because everybody's on the telly these days, and my internet connection went off. So, so I said, sure, it's error 404, and that's what I'm going to talk about. How not really talk about that. I think I always I have a problem of diverting into random areas. So there is no particular topic that this talk is about. But yes, I would. I am an actor. I'm Ali Fazal. For all those people who missed the introduction, I'm still growing and still not the beard. I am in many ways as an actor, as an artist, as a human being. I think this is a time that has helped us all contemplate and introspect our lives in very interesting and um, weird ways. I How do I say this? I became an actor by accident. So, bit of a disclaimer for all those people who are planning it and planning their lives. And because I heard a lot of speeches and a few notes talking about success and talking about excellence, and it's very nice to hear that because sometimes it's great that you have something that you can plan for, you can go for it. And sometimes life just throws you into something that you can't really help. In my case, I was a science student. I was studying in the Doon School. I did my college in St. Xavier's, Bombay. Bit of a geek, actually. But I used to play basketball, and suddenly I broke my arm. And my life, as I knew it was just changed. It was over. It was, I didn't know anything else. So my friend came to me and he said, "Yeah, तुम्हारी अंग्रेजी ठीक ठाक है. Why don't you why don't you try for the Shakespeare play which is happening in school?" And I said, "Okay, I'm pretty good at lying. I can do that. Maybe I can pull it off." And I did, and that day and today, and that this became my life. And I think what I'm trying to say is that sometimes you have to adjust your environments if you can't if you don't want to just sit around waiting for fate to take you in. With me it was fate. Of course later I acted upon it and I still try to better myself as an artist. But um, I will actually tell you about, I won't tell you much about it, but there's a very interesting study that I came across, and it's a study called the eugenics. which we've never ever been told about, because of course it affects the big pharmas and the systems that we live in. We're all about rules and we're all about regulations and how we fit in. Of course, as an artist, I get the leeway of questioning that system and questioning and throwing the question out to you guys to be able to answer that. Of course, sometimes that comes out in hate, and sometimes there's lovely messages. Sometimes people take inspiration. Sometimes people disseminate inspiration. But the study of eugenics is very interesting because it talks about how we are built of millions and millions of cells, right? And every day, it is our environment that has the power to influence our entire lives. It's how you create that environment and what environment you are in that will decide your fate. So when people say, "Oh my God, it's genetics," and "Oh my God, it's my fate," I don't buy that, because it's been a long, interesting journey for me, and there were choices that I had to make. There are films I've done, in fact, that I really regret today because uh, I wish I wasn't in that state. I had no money. I remember I had lied to my father. I hope he's not listening on this, but I told him that I'm totally fine. I don't need pocket money. I was in college and I started funding my own college because I got these small ads that I did. I started getting some money, and after that I slowly moved on to Three Idiots, which was one of my first films. I did a small role there, and then went on to do bigger parts, and then of course Hollywood happened, and that was another journey that is still very nascent stages, but it's beautiful because I think the times are changing, and it's all one world, and which is also one of the reasons why we are right now connected, and I can see all of you guys sitting there and probably waiting for me to shut the hell up and get out so you can carry on with this wonderful event. Uh, but see, I think I have a problem with people giving people inspiration. Not a problem, but I think there are so many people who are now giving out information. We're in the age of information, and for every story there's a debunk. For every story there's an alternate story. For every right wing there's a left. The blue pill or the red pill or whatever you call it. I think somewhere the choice lies in your hands, and I see a lot of you people, preparing speech. I remember even in my childhood when we used to attend these Toastmaster meetings, and people would prepare and they would really, come in and just blurt out everything. Um, as an actor, what I learned was to listen, not to people. Of course, you have to do that. Step one, uh, for socializing, but to listen to yourself. And I mean every word that comes out of your mouth, the commas, the full stops, basics. Half breath on a comma, full breath on a full stop. And that's how emotion is made, and that's how we translate energies. Of course, using languages, and that's exactly what I do on screen. Of course, I get paid for just stretching that lie over a period of maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, or sometimes even longer, if you can sell it to you as a show. But I think, mm, as an actor, I also realized and started respecting everybody, and which is why I'm not coming here to you guys from a place of power or from a pedestal, but in all humbleness, because I would love to learn. We guys are very vulnerable beings. We face rejections every day. If I do one film, I have been rejected of 10 films. You can be rest assured, minimum. Um, we are already always in the microscopic lens, for gossips, for uh, information dissemination, for everything. My father also sometimes calls me. He says, "Yeah, ye tumne ye kab kiya?" I and I'm like, "No, I did. You have to ask me first, because the media is gonna uh, blast out everything." And of course, we're living in an age of interpretation, and it's scary. It's sad that sometimes people are not understood fully. Um, I thought about this day today for the last 2 days, and the how do I say this? I felt like penning it, and I felt like creating a speech, but I then decided not to, because I would suddenly become stuck in that structure that I've created, in that system. And I think over the years of wanting to be an actor, I've learned how to not be an actor, and that's the key to it: to be able to unlearn everything at any given point of time. Of course, I can carry on giving you gyan about how to become an actor and what books you should read, or but I think there's enough information that you guys can find for yourselves on WhatsApp groups. And my God, that's another disease. But Zoom is the new one, and we're all falling in line. I mean, this pandemic has, of course, thrust us into this very testing times in a flash. If you actually think about it, we've been made to be ready for the next military rule, if I may say so. It's an exception. So thank you again for having me here. And I did not want to, of course, by the way, this was not a course in acting. That was just me putting a point across that I can lie and try and get away with it. I'm not lying. But yes, this is me in a nutshell. There's a larger story to it. But I know that we are all time bound, and I also get very excited when I heard that there's a Q&A, and I love answering questions and being able to talk. And I think this is already a very new thing for me, to not be able to reach out and sort of see people or shake hands. So I'm assuming that you guys are laughing and maybe humming or mumbling or saying, reaching your hands out and maybe saying a hello. Or, I think some people might have left. But thank you for having me here. I would give you more information about myself, but I would like to maybe answer more questions, if that's a possibility. Is somebody listening? How do I communicate with somebody here? I'm just dying to hear another voice. That's why
we are all listening to you, Abhi.
Okay, great, awesome. That's nice. That's great. Because there's also some little I have these. So okay, this is one thing very interesting. Over the lockdown, I realized yesterday I was living alone, and I was very proud of it. And I thought, wow, I'm coping well. And after 2 months of lockdown, my house was, pretty clean. But these weird, figures have popped up in my house. Subconsciously, I've placed human beings in different places, and I just have conversations with them. So this is still one step further, and very interesting. But I think, sorry, to sum it up, I would just like to say that what I would maybe eventually talk about, if I had more time, would be that the moment you define something, the moment you define, or objectify a goal, or yourself, you can't possibly do that, because the moment you define it, the definition has changed. That's how we evolve. It's like water. You put water in a glass, and it becomes a glass of water. But water on its own is always water. It will always remain fluid. The moment it's defined, it becomes part of that. And that's my quest in life, to not just conform to one thing, and which is why sometimes I've lost a lot of parts, because I've not conformed to a particular image. Hollywood, on the other hand, came to my rescue and sort of threw me into lead roles, and the Oscars and the Academy memberships and all that, and I thought, great, that's amazing, but I don't want to again abandon home, because this is home. To be able to bridge that will be hopefully my next step, and to keep raising questions, because we are artists, and we will keep pushing buttons everywhere. So that's me, and your little glitch, error 404, maybe more later.
Mr. Ali, we have